What is going on, my beautiful friends? Thank you so much for joining me on another edition of Trail Talks. Today, we are headed to one of the most epic mountain biking towns in all of BC, Nelson, BC to be exact, Morning Mountain. This is a chapter out of my book, The Best Mountain Bike Trails in Canada, available now on Amazon for all of the best Canadian mountain biking in one place. Yes, my friends are right. For those of you who have never been to Nelson, BC, this place is absolutely epic. Such a beautiful town with the chillest vibes. This is a very kind of like hippie place with an artsy culture. One of the must visit towns in BC just to soak in all the culture. And not to mention, they have sick mountain biking everywhere. There is 4 chapters in my book. But today we are just going over the Morning Mountain. This is one of the more intermediate friendly mountains in Nelson. This place is known for having some insane trails. There's an old saying here, if it's a blue in Nelson, it's a black everywhere else, right? So many years ago, they upgraded many of their blues to blacks because this place was really not on par with the rest of BC. So this is one of BC's gnarlier mountain biking towns, but this mountain itself has a lot of kind of beginner, more intermediate friendly riding and some sick flow, some sick tech. So let us get into it right now. Let us start off with Rhythm and Blues. So this is your classic blue flow trail, berms and tables. Now, I remember when I was there, it had just freshly opened. You kind of had to watch your speed on some of these tables because you can overclear these ones good. Not quite sure. That was about 4-5 years ago, so not quite sure. Maybe they've adjusted it since then. But mind your speed on Rhythm and Blues, and be sure not to overshoot those tables. But Rhythm and Blues is a beautiful flow trail, just the perfect little flow trail you would want to warm up on the mountain. I would say the next level up from that is Lefty. So this is kind of another flow trail, more of a mixed bag though, has some little tech moments on it. It's got your tables, it's got your berms, it's even got some optional gap jumps. So start off with Rhythm and Blues, then make your way onto Lefty, and we will get into one of the most epic flow trails of all time in a few minutes here, which is the next step up. But let us get into some blue rated tech after we discussed our 2 blue rated flow trails. The one really fun blue rated tech line you're going to want to take is Mr. Slave down to Blue Steel. So Mr. Slave is kind of your classic old school techie with a bit of flow. Blue Tech, it's got some woodwork. It's mostly a techie adventure. And then it leads on to the newer trail, Blue Steel. This is a hybrid flow and tech trail. So just kind of a perfect line. Nothing too steep or scary on these ones, Mr. Slave to Blue Steel. Kind of a sweet little technical line, perfect for the average intermediate rider who wants to get a little rocky, a little bumpy, and a little gnarly. Those looking for something a little harder, a little bit more of a blue tech, which you can even call, I would call it a hard blue, closer to a black in many sections, is Placenta Descenta. So this one is your classic steep, chunky, and rocky ride. Classic Nelson flavor. So definitely Placenta Descenta. A longer trail, about 2 kilometers, and classic Nelson trail right here. Chunky, got some steeps, rocky, techie, classic Nelson. I do love this trail. I like to ride down one every time I'm out there. If you're looking for something a little easier, similar flavor, but much easier, less steep. So I guess not really similar flavor, but you can ride Illuminati, which is rides down to. I do suggest kind of Mr. Slave to Blue Steel, Placenta Descenta if you want to spice it up a little more on a blue trail, and Illuminati, don't suggest that one quite as much. But all fun trails, a great mix of blue rated flow and blue rated tech. But now, my friends, we are about to get into the most epic trail on the whole mountain. Like, I'm not usually a flow trail guy of late. I have turned into more of a technical trail guy. But I think this trail here, the single black Turnstiles, is my favorite flow trail of all time. Beats any bike park, so let us get into it. Turnstiles, single black. Now let us say, if you stay off the optional gap jumps and stuff, you can probably ride this trail like a blue. It has some bigger tabletop jumps, so that's probably why it's considered a black. But this black rated trail, Turnstiles, It has some of the sickest berms that I have ever ridden. Sometimes you can get bored of berms and you're like, berm, 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 whatever, but these berms are huge and these berms are sick. The tables are a little bigger than the blues, actually quite a bit bigger, and my God, the most brilliant berms and tables you have ever seen in your life. They call it a bike park in the backcountry. It even has a gap jump or two on it. So my God, turnstiles, single black, bike park in the backcountry, one of the best flow trails you will ever ride in your life. All right, my friends. For those looking for a little more black rated tech, you got Center for Ants. That's chunky, techy, black rated fun. So if you're looking to mix it up, that's just a short one coming from the top. And there's another one at the bottom, Rise and Fry. This is a mixed bag. Starts off a little more flowy and speedy, ends off a little more techy with slabs. All very fun trails. All very fun trails. But for those of you looking for the ultimate test on the mountain, one of Nelson's greatest double blacks. I freaking love this trail. You are looking at Bed Frame, the double black. This one got the views on it. This one got the rock slabs, the chunk, the techie steeps. Towards the bottom, it gets more technical and steep. Towards the top, it's more chunky and slabby. It's got the views. This one is a classic Nelson double black. Steep, techie, chunky, rock slabby. What would you expect more from a Nelson trail? So when it's a Nelson double black, respect it, because Nelson double blacks are the real deal. Nelson double blacks are the tits. This is real mountain biking at its finest. Highly recommend Bed Frame. This is a longer trail too. I believe it's something like 2 kilometers. So this one drops you in and you are in for an adventure. This is really the only double black on this mountain, I believe, but this is the only one you ever need to ride. You can see the boys in Nelson here on their e-bikes going up for laps. The climb trail isn't too bad here. Pretty good climb trail. And you can just do laps and laps and laps, especially if you got an e-bike. I was getting jealous on my old school acoustic bike. Seeing buddy I was talking to, he kept going back for more, back for more. So Morning Mountain, absolutely sick place. Got it all. Blue flow, blue tech, black flow, black tech, and then it's got the double black Bed Frame, which is your double black epic on the mountain. Rock slabs, chunky and steep. A little bit of loam. Not sure if the loam is still there. It used to be there. But anyways, my friends, Morning Mountain, great place for intermediates. Even beginners can kind of have fun on some of these trails if taken at the right speed. So this is the most intermediate friendly mountain in Nelson, and it's probably got my favorite trail in Nelson, Turnstiles. The bike park in the backcountry, my God, Turnstiles is just a sickening flow trail, one of the sickening, most bestest trails you will ever ride in all of BC. So get out to Morning Mountain, my friends. Anyways, my friends, hopefully you can get your BC bike trip going, the Okanagan, the Kootenay, the Island, Sunshine Coast, sea to sky corridor. My God, is it beautiful. Thank the good Lord for BC mountain biking, my friends. Anyways, my friends, we will check back in with you soon. Peace and lots of love. I am Aute.